everybody and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Welcome to lesson 34 from Learn to Play the Piano Book 4. So Learn to Play the Piano Book 4 is a follow-on series from books 1, books 2 and book 3. Book 5 will be out later on in this year. And what's new for book 4 and book 3 is that they now are available with a songbook which is accompanied with them. So the songbook contains 10 pieces which are made up of well-known classical pieces and some original pieces by me. And these books, these are like extra kind of addendum books. They go hand in hand with the Learn to Play the Piano Book 4. This has been specifically tailor-made to go hand in hand with this book, just if you want some extra pieces to have a go at. Well, the link from where to buy them is directly above my head. I'll put a direct link in the description bar underneath this video as well. So let's get on with the lesson. Okay, just before I go on to lesson 34, I just want to point out that you might see that the book is blurred in this video. That's only just for this video, just to protect the copyright of this book. When you buy and download your copy of the book, you'll have a perfect edition. So lesson 34, 8 more arpeggios. So we're basically just going to be carrying on from lesson 33, and we're going to be doing the arpeggios that we just learnt the scales for. I'm kind of one of those teachers that I think you should learn your scales and arpeggios as you're going along your piano learning. So as you're learning more stuff on the piano and you're getting a little bit more complicated and the pieces are getting more complicated, you should be learning the scales that kind of go hand in hand with that. I'm also one of those teachers that think if you learn the scale, then you may as well and you should learn the arpeggio to go with it. After all, is an arpeggio just not a broken up version of a scale? So if you've done the scale, you may as well do the arpeggio. And as we know, pieces are made up of scales and arpeggios. If they weren't, they'd be completely random. So all pieces are made up of scales, arpeggios, chromatics, broken chords, all of those kind of technical exercises. So arpeggios are just as important as scales, because you'll get pieces that are made up of scales, arpeggios, that kind of thing. So there's some information on page 13, but basically going straight into it, I'm going to play all the arpeggios for you. I'm going to play them 2 octaves, hands together, as I've written out in this book. If you want to do them 1 octave, or if you just want to do them hands separately to start with, that's fine. But you want to aim to start playing them 2 octaves, hands together. Here's E major. And A major. And B major. So as you can see, these are quite nice and simple. Moving on to page 14, E flat major. Now again, with the fingering of the scales, you have to be very careful because we can't put thumbs on black notes. E major. I quite like black note arpeggios because you'll find that you're using a lot of 4th finger. Because they're on the black notes, you're able to keep your fingers out a little bit straighter rather than having to kind of negotiate through the black and the white keys. I mean, you still want to keep some flexibility in your hands. I'm not saying you want to keep your fingers out straight, but I mean in terms of manoeuvring up and down the piano, they're nice and you don't have to be bending around like I said. So B flat major. E minor. B minor. And lastly, G minor. So on page 15 as well, in case you don't know what to do, I've got another one of these practice charts. Do or don't use this, it's entirely up to you. I've got a blank one in the back of the book as well, which is situated on page 31 if you just want to fill out completely from scratch, so you can print out as many as these as you like. But on page 15 I've just made a few suggestions. So in the first column we've got scales and arpeggios, E major, A major, B major, E flat major scales, so on. So they're all the 8 scales. And then underneath that I've just left a little bit of a gap in case you want to add anything in there, but they're all the arpeggios. What to do: 2 octaves each hand times 4, and then also 2 octaves together. And the same with the arpeggios, 2 octaves each hand times 4 and 2 octaves together. So I know I said to aim together, but I mean that it doesn't hurt to practice them individually as well, because you'll find that your left hand, especially if you are right hand, if your dominant hand is your right hand, you will find that your left hand may not be quite so proficient as the right hand. So it'll be a good way to practice. So, you know, there's just a little way to kind of help you have a little chart next to the piano, and not only that, you're not having to think about what you've got off the top of your head. You've got something that's, all the thinking has been taken out for you, so you can leave this by the piano. You know exactly which one you've got to do, which one you've got to do next. You can jumble them up, mix them up, that kind of thing. Do your own one, and it's just a good way of warming up and practicing the scales and arpeggios before you start your playing. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget the links to both Learn to Play the Piano Book 4 and the Songbook 4 will be linked directly underneath this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.